Hey, welcome back. In this video, we will again be having a look at a really nice frame motion component. And this component has everything to do with sticky navigations. Because if we take a look at my custom course platform, you see that there's this bottom navigation. And before, this element would be always in the way if there would be a large video or large preview. So what I added last week is that if you scroll down, that this element simply moves out of the way. And if you scroll back up, that it comes back again. And in this case, you can even click on it and then it also comes back and it goes out of the way and it comes back. And that to me is actually super nice. So in this video, we're gonna recreate something similar, but it will be a sticky top navigation instead of bottom navigation. In the navigation, you see the exact same behavior. You scroll, the element disappears, you scroll up, it comes back again. And then even if you hover it instead of click, it just comes back. And if you leave it, it goes out of the way again. So maybe it's even in some ways better than my version. So let's not wait any longer and dive in to see how I created this. Before we start coding, let's take a brief look at what we have as a starting point. In the browser, you see that we already have a sticky navigation. It just stays in place if we scroll down. All of the menu items, they also have a hover state, and that's about it. There is some room to scroll and some stupid text, so you at least have something to look at. And then if we quickly jump to VS Code, then you also see the code that's already there. We have this main app, which is just a simple page that has a minimum height, so there's some room to scroll. There's also this text, which you see in the background, and then there is this nav component. And this nav component, that's the navigation that floats on top of the screen. And that is what we're gonna make disappear and reappear. So if we go to that nav component, just to keep things easy, I put it in the same file. And what you see is the element itself is using position fixed to be fixed at the top of the page, and that is why it stays in place when you keep on scrolling. And then I've also added a z-index so it stays on top of the content as well. And then in there you see this nav component. This nav component is a wrapper for all of our anchors, which are then inside of that navigation. And then you see there is some asterisks in here, and they simply style all of the anchors and they give them the rounded border, the background color, the text color, and all things like that. And that is the only thing we have now. So let's start adding that animation. Since we are going to use frame motion for this animation, I already went ahead and installed that package, so that's already in there. And even though we're going to use frame motion, you can pretty much build everything we're going to do with plain JavaScript as well. There is not really a reason that you should use frame motion for this. So first things first, what we need to do is we need to have some sort of state to know whether this component is in the kind of expanded or collapsed state. So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to say const is hidden and set is hidden, which is the use state, and that starts as false. And then based on this state, we're going to toggle the animation. And since we are going to use frame motion to animate this element, we're going to change this div into a motion.div. This motion we need to import from frame motion. And what we're then going to do is we're going to add some variants on here. And with these variants, we're able to kind of create different states for the component, which we can then trigger with frame motion. So the first variant that we're going to add is hidden. And then we're going to say y of minus 100%. So that means that it moves 100% to the top. And then we're going to add a visible as well, where it is a y of 0%. And next, we can add the animate property, where we're going to say is hidden, and then we use the hidden variant, which references this variant, so also these styles, and otherwise it will be visible. So that means if we would go back to the browser, we should still see the exact same thing. However, if we would set this to true, and we go back again, you already see that the element is hidden, or at least kind of hidden. So this is what we are going to use. But the first thing I want to address is the fact that you still see a little bit of the navigation, even though it's moved up 100%. And the reason for that is because if it's not hidden, you see that there's also some space at the top. So even if it moves up 100%, there is still this room, this spacing, that it actually should move up additionally. And that room on top is created by adding a top of 3, which is the wrapper of our nav, and that moves it down. However, what we could do is we could change it to a top 0, and then you see it moves all the way to the top of the page. So we lost the gap. However, what we can do now is instead of using the top 3, we could add a padding top of 3. And then we have pretty much the exact same result. The only difference now being that this whole element is actually sticking at the top and the navigation itself is moved down 3 because of the padding it has. And by doing this, if we move up the element 100%, it will always be fully out of view. You could also, of course, use a different value than 100% to also move it up more than 100%. That's totally up to you. But personally, I really like using this padding variant and then having our nav inside here. So that also means that this is the element that has the background and not our main wrapper that is position fixed. So now how are we gonna make this navigation disappear and reappear? So for that, we're gonna use another hook by FramerMotion, and that hook is called useScroll. And this useScroll hook will give us a few things, one of which is the scroll Y. And the scroll Y is the number in pixels that the user scrolled down on the page. And based on this number, we can then change this isHidden variable. So what we could do is we could use the useMotionValueEvent hook, which is quite a mouthful, by FramerMotion, because this way we can react to something that changes inside of the scroll Y. We're using FramerMotion here, and this scroll Y is not simply a number, it is actually a motion value, which means that we can't simply add this to a use effect. So if we add this scroll Y as a value, and then we say we want to listen to the change event, then we get a Y inside of the callback, which is the current value. So we could, for example, say if Y is larger than 300, isHidden is true, and otherwise isHidden is false. So this way, if the user scrolled further than 300 pixels, the navigation will hide itself, and otherwise it will reappear. Let's see if that works. If we now scroll, the navigation goes away, and if we scroll back, it comes back again. So yes, this is exactly what we wanted. But you do see some bouncy effect, and that is because FramerMotion automatically comes up with an animation for you. And in this case, it decided to add some velocity to it, so you see the bounce. So let's first override that animation by going into our motion.diff, and then we're gonna add transition, or we're gonna say duration 0.2. And if we do that and scroll, we also see that the spring is gone and that we have a nice smooth animation. So this already could be exactly what you want. However, what's also a really nice feature to add is if you scroll further down and you scroll up just a little bit, that the navigation comes back again. Because this way you don't need to scroll fully to the top to get back to the navigation. So that's actually the next thing I want to add. And in order to create this logic, we need to somehow keep track of the previous position Y that it had before the next event triggers. So for that, we're going to create a ref in React where we say const yref is useRef, which starts at 0. And maybe we can better rename it even to last yref, so we know that it is the previous value. And then inside of our motion event, we're going to say const difference is equal to y minus the previous version. And now, what do we need to do with that difference? Well, the first thing is we can't compare every pixel that you scroll down, because then it would bounce up and down even for a single pixel that you scroll. So I pretty much only want to compare, for example, every 50 pixels. So what I want to do with that difference is I want to say if the difference is larger than 50 pixels, only then I want to do something. Which also means that only then I want to update the last reference to the current one, so we don't update every pixel. Because that way, there's always a 50 pixel difference that you have to scroll before something will happen. So that means that the first thing you're going to update are last yref with the current version. But then there's also one more thing we need to change, because depending on the direction you're scrolling, this difference number could either be a positive number or a negative number. Because if the previous Y position would be a larger number than the current one, that means that you're actually scrolling back up, and then you get a negative number. But in our case, we want to trigger for both directions. So that means we need to trigger for both a value larger than 50 as well as smaller than minus 50. But what we could do is we can use mod.apps. And what that does is it will always create a positive number out of anything we input in there. So if we would input minus 100, it would still give us 100. So that way our comparison will be a little bit easier, and we don't need to compare whether it's larger than 50 or smaller than minus 50. And because inside this if statement, we're only triggering for every 50 pixels, we know that we can simply compare if it's a positive or a negative number. And based on that, we're gonna show or hide the navigation. So what we can do is we can say set is hidden, and you already see Copilot auto-completing it. If the difference is larger than 0, that means we're scrolling down, which means it should be hidden. And if it's smaller than 0, that means we're scrolling back up and it should become visible again. And then again, for one more time, because this is super important, we're only comparing this difference between the previous and the current Y position if the difference between them is larger than 50. Otherwise, we don't compare them, and we also don't update the previous Y position. Because if we would add this outside of the if statement, we would constantly be updating it, and the difference would never be larger than 50 because it updates for every pixel that you scroll. And now we've added these few lines and talked about it more than we typed. We can go back and we should see that if we scroll down for more than 50 pixels, little bit, that the navigation disappears. If we keep on scrolling, it stays away. But if we scroll up for 50 pixels, it should come back. That's amazing, right? But we're not done yet, because what I actually want to do is change this hidden position to, for example, 90%. So we still have this small notch that's visible like we had before. And the reason for that is because I want to add something else. And that is, I want to use the while hover property. And then I want to say visible, because this way, if you hover this div, it will always go back to visible no matter what the value is inside of animate. So that means that if we have this hidden navigation now, we can still hover it and it will come back and we can interact with it, move off, and it will be gone. However, if it's in a visible state, we hover it, it stays in place like it used to be. But if you scroll away, you can hover it and it will be visible again. And then it disappears. And this is one of the nice things by using framer motion for this, because we're not updating this is hidden boolean, but we're only using framer motion's variance to trigger the current state of this element without changing the state. And now one other thing that's also super important is to make sure that this element also stays accessible. So for that, I'm gonna add on focus capture, which is a function where we're gonna set is hidden to false. So that means even though it's hidden right now, if I tap inside of the navigation, you see that it became visible again and that we can use this navigation. But if we keep on scrolling, it will just go away again and it will come back just like normal. But again, if we keep on tapping, it also comes back. And this way we also added a super important accessibility part that, in my opinion, should also not be omitted. And there you have it. By only adding a few lines of JavaScript, we were able to create such a nice interactive animation. And to me, it's these little details that make a website fun to work with. So if you're also interested in learning more about framer motion, definitely check out my course linked down below as well, because there I'm working on building a full course to teach you all of the things about framer motion, as well as working on many more examples just like this one. If you enjoyed this video, also don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and then I will see you in the next video.